A few minutes later.
And the Oscar goes to Billie Eilish and Phineas.
Oh.
So a couple months ago, I watched the 2024 Oscars, and I mean, they were alright, I guess. Anyways, one of the most memorable moments was easily the live performance of I'm Just Ken. It was the most incredible song performance of the entire night, and in true Barbie fashion, the Kens ultimately lost. And this moment got me thinking about the Best Original Song category. I know every year we get to hear all the nominees perform live during the ceremony, and most of them are fantastic. But some days, I feel like the category itself doesn't get enough attention. So that got me thinking, why haven't more people ranked all the winners? It can't be that hard, right? Right? Okay, fine, I'll do it myself. A few things to know about this list. I obviously haven't seen every movie that all of these songs come from, so I might not know the context or purpose behind how they were used. I listened to all these songs in chronological order on a playlist, and I didn't have enough time to watch all the clips from their respective movies, which means some songs might have an advantage over the others, but I tried my best not to make this list too biased. Finally, and this goes without saying, but this is my list, and this is my personal opinion, so I'm sorry if I end up saying something mean about one of your favorite songs, but feel free to leave your own list in the comments. Anyways, let's get on with the list, starting with...
This is such bullshit.
There was no other choice for the worst spot on the list. You know, it really upsets me how many acclaimed and beloved movies end up getting 0 Oscar wins or nominations, and yet one of Disney's most infamous and offensive movies, one that they've tried to sweep under the rug multiple times, still has more Oscars than all of them, even if it was just one win. The song itself is already horrible on its own, but the fact that this is an Oscar-winning song is just embarrassing. I didn't listen to the other nominated songs, but I'm sure they're better than this. Alright, I'm done. F tier is over. Moving on. Terrible sound quality and lyrics, and it doesn't even start until halfway through, so no thanks. You'll never know how I feel about this song, because it's so boring and forgettable that I have nothing to say about it. Pennies from Heaven should have won, SMH. I guess it gives off some neat tropical vibes, but the lyrics are really nothing special. Moving on. A lame song with dumb lyrics, but hey, at least it wasn't boring. I hope Judy Garland's back was okay from carrying this absolute nothing of a song. I don't have much to say about this one, except I think it's hilarious how it was nominated the same year as the Woody Woodpecker song. Like, how funny would that be if that won an Oscar over this lame song? Hey, it's the problematic Christmas song that everyone likes to say is a problematic Christmas song. Yeah, I was just as surprised as you are to see this on the list. A pretty childish song that even Frank Sinatra's vocals can't save. If this song's goal was to convince the listener to prevent global warming, then it failed. Who allowed Sam Smith into the recording studio? They are not who I would go to for singing a Bond theme. Their vocals are too high and distracting for me to get invested in such a potentially gripping song. Honestly, 2015 was such a weak year for this category that I'm not even surprised at this one. This song came very close to being in D tier, but thankfully it was saved by Doris Day's vocals and the music increasing in tempo during that final minute. The lyrics are kind of questionable, but the music is fine, I guess. Imagine having a brother called Jackass. Truly tragic. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm for sure her name was Gigi, the one that started it all. Honestly, I kind of have mixed feelings about this one. Its original incarnation is pretty rough, but future covers are pretty soothing to listen to. I know it's the most famous Disney song of all time, but would you really go as far as to say it's one of their best? Do you really have this song in your Disney playlist? Don't make me laugh. I remember watching this in my film studies class in high school. I wasn't really all that into it, which applies to a lot of films in the Western genre, but this was a pretty decent theme. Decent Rodgers and Hammerstein song. These guys have never been my favorite musical composers, but this still maintains their classic vibe that made so many of their shows so beloved. I used to hate this song when I was younger, but hearing it again, it's actually fine. I'm not a fan of how this song opens, but it gets better once that key changes. Man, 2005 really was one of the most boring years for movies. I don't know how this song got here, but it did win this award over Crash, so that's a plus. How the hell did Nightmare Before Christmas get snubbed that year? It makes no sense. Anyway, kind of a boring song, but I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a bad one. Okay, so I had some personal beef with this song in the past, especially during that year's Oscar season when this won the award over the best song from Encanto, and the next year Billy and Phineas weren't even nominated for the banger songs they wrote for Turning Red. But going back to this song years later, it's a little better than I give it credit for. It's still not a great song, Billy's vocals definitely don't fit the style or tone of a Bond theme, but perhaps I treated it too harshly. Okay, raise your hand if you also first thought that this song was from Grease. Can you comment if you raised your hand? Thank you. The instrumentals are cool, but the intro is so unnecessarily long, and the song doesn't even start until the last 2 minutes. What's the deal? Easily the weakest of all the song winners from the 80s. It's not a bad song, but it's not a great one either. This song is fine, but the thought of Lord Andy and his repetitive melodies winning through the sheer power of Oscar bait, while Hunchback of Notre Dame didn't get a single nomination, is terrifying to think about. I had a hard time ranking this one, to be honest. The song is fine for what it is, even though the historical context behind it is really upsetting. I'm gonna get in so much trouble for saying this, but I've never been a big fan of this soundtrack. I mean, it's great when it's separated from the movie it's from, but when it's attached, it's really hard for me to see the appeal. Rough vocals, but pretty great music and lyrics make for the most okay song on the list. A decent civil rights anthem that I don't have much to say about. It would have been cool to see the Lego Movie get a win, especially after all of the backlash about getting snubbed for Best Animated Feature, but I'm definitely not opposed to this song winning instead. When it comes to this category, it seems like the easiest way to win this award is if the song is written for a movie about music. This was better than the other country songs we've seen so far on the list, but no way is it better than those 2 songs from Princess and the Frog. It wasn't until this point that I realized how much the Academy loves its low-energy ballads. Admittedly, this is one of the better ones, but now I'm starting to notice a trend. I'm on to you, Academy. This song is just fun, not gonna lie. The lyrics are absolutely bonkers, but the music is so upbeat that it's impossible not to love it. Not one of Elton's best, but it still serves as a great anthem for his biopic. A solid piano ballad, but Rainbow Connection should have won. A very catchy song that's notable for being the first song from a foreign language film to win this award. I just thought that was neat. Imagine my surprise when I saw that this song didn't originate from the movie of the same name. The first truly great Oscar-winning song. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of impossible to dislike this one. I do prefer later versions of the song, but the original is still iconic in its own right. Good thing the Nat King Cole version exists, or else this would have ranked much lower, and we wouldn't have that iconic scene from Glass Onion. One of the biggest surprises on this list. The music is soothing, and Ann Sothern gives a beautiful vocal performance. Not one of Frankie's best, but after everything I previously heard while going through this list, it was so nice to hear his voice appear. Pretty much everything I said before, except I thought the song was slightly better. The original rendition of the song is nothing amazing on its own, but I will always be grateful for this song's existence for eventually giving us Pink Martini's cover used in Mary and Max. Watch that movie, listen to that cover. It's a very soothing song and all, but seriously, why didn't they give this award to Umbrellas of Cherbourg, an actual musical? Or even better, What's New Pussycat? Come on! Take the Salt and Pepper Diner Challenge, Academy! Barbara sings the word memory during the opening of the song, and that gave me traumatic flashbacks. Good song though. This one has some real Jesus Christ Superstar vibes. I dig it. I did like this one more than the previous Barbara song, but did it seriously deserve to win over I'm Gonna Fly Again from Rocky? I didn't think so. I haven't heard this song since I first saw the movie all those years back, but wow, this is such a bop, and in my opinion, a much better song than Glory. A slow but smooth opening that transitions into a very groovy and upbeat song that just makes you want to dance like it's the last. Get it? Cause the song is called Last Dance.
Do you get my joke?
Easily the most popular song of that year, but it's no Mean Green Mother from Outer Space, that's for sure. An incredibly soothing song that I might rank higher once I finally watch Better Call Saul. Nice to see the Carpenters on this list. A solid song, but I will always associate the chorus with Moulin Rouge and nothing else. Also, Eye of the Tiger should have won. What the hell? You know, if I had a nickel for every time a song from the Rocky series lost an Oscar. What a feeling. More like, what a song. Because it's such a jam. Am I right? Kinda underwhelming to see 2 songs from Footloose and the Ghostbusters theme lose that year, but hey, still cool to see Stevie Wonder win an Oscar. Out of these 5 nominees, I think it's safe to say that this one has stood the test of time the best. For such a boring and dated movie like this one, it's honestly a miracle that this song holds up almost 3 decades later. You've Got a Friend in Me obviously should have won, but if Pocahontas had to win one award, then I guess I'm fine with it being this one. Okay, this should not have won over Tangled, but on the other hand, this is honestly such an underrated Randy Newman song and a perfect song to accompany Toy Story 3's credits. An incredible ending to a pretty decent movie. Nothing else more to say. It's iconic. Probably one of the most chill songs on this entire list, and I dug the acoustic instrumentals. I kept forgetting this song was even in the movie, and I always thought this one just because of the Return of the King sweep, but hearing it again, it really is a beautiful song that earned its win. I'll never understand how this was the only song from Mary Poppins that got nominated, when I can name 4 songs from the movie that were more deserving of that category. But hey, still an iconic song regardless. I've been meaning to watch this movie for a while now, and I think I might just do that after hearing this song. great stuff. I don't even need to see the movie, and neither do you, to know that this song is a bop. Not a fan of Madonna, but I dug her vocals and the jazz club vibes on this one. Also, I had no idea Sondheim wrote this song because it sounds like nothing he's ever written. Another surprise song on this list. Honestly, for the longest time, I've only associated this song with the asparagus scene from American Beauty. Yes, I have it ranked this high. So what? A song that's claimed to be so overplayed that people have stopped playing it. But that's kind of a shame because all these years later, Let It Go is still a very impressive song. It screams musical theater and serves as a great Act 1 closer. Say what you will about Frozen, I certainly would, but I can't help but love this one. I'll never forget seeing this movie with my parents in the theater and being absolutely blown away when I first heard this song. Since then, I've kind of grown apart from this song, but I'll still recognize how much of a jam it is to listen to. I hope I never have to hear the Randy Newman cover of this song again. Billy Crystal and John Goodman for life. They did not have to go so hard on this credit song, but they did, and I'm so happy about that. It's the opening song and the first real movie reference from the first Madagascar. Surprise! Ah yes, the song that inspired this whole ranking. I'm not even the biggest Billie Eilish fan, but I truly think that this is her best song to date. Not only is it integral to that now famous scene near the end of Barbie, but it even plays a role in the rest of the movie's music, and you can even hear it in the background for certain scenes. I remember hoping that I'm Just Ken would win the award back when I first saw the movie that summer, considering how much I had that song on repeat. But after months of reflection, I realized that this would have made for a much more satisfying win. It is upsetting that Barbie didn't get enough love at this year's award season, but I'm glad that it at least went home with something. Can't go wrong with Christopher Cross, and this was an excellent theme for a highly underrated comedy. Now if only we could get him to sing the other Arthur theme, an absolutely iconic song with beautiful music and a gorgeous vocal performance that still stands the test of time, even if some parts of the movie it's from hasn't. Not the biggest Dirty Dancing fan, but I can't deny how iconic its ending and this song is. Such an amazing soundtrack that could have made up 80% of the nominees that year. If they had to pick just one song, then I'm glad it was this one. Honestly, Lion King should have been up for every slot in the category that year. Now this is a Bond theme, a dramatic and epic theme with incredible orchestrations and vocals from Adele. A more than well-deserved win. The fact that Les Mis got nominated that year is a joke. An iconic song to get the audience excited for such an awesome movie. So, I didn't watch Slumdog Millionaire until I was a teenager, but I was fortunate enough to hear this song when it first came out. An absolutely infectious and addictive song that's impossible to not get up and dance to. It's kind of odd for a movie like this to have a dance party ending, but good lord, they earned it. Yep, it's the song that everyone remembers from Spider-Man 2. Except for hardcore cinephiles. Originally, I only had this in my top 10 because of the memes, but this really deserves to be an S tier for just being a perfect song on its own. As much as we all like to pretend that we're sick of this song, we all still put it on every once in a while, and it's basically impossible to deny how iconic and essential both the song and the movie it's from is to pop culture. Also, I saw the movie in IMAX last year for its 25th anniversary, and hearing the song in that huge theater coming through the surround speakers as Jim intended was simply unforgettable. The only song in my top 10 from a movie that I personally wasn't a big fan of, but I don't know, the song just still stuck with me, even after all this time. The piano and guitar complement each other beautifully just as much as the two vocalists, who deliver some truly excellent harmonies. I went back and forth on whether or not this deserved to be an S tier, but I ultimately decided to rank Remember Me this high, not only for being a beautiful song on its own, but also for being integral and serving multiple purposes in the movie's story. Coco would not be the same, and its now famous emotional moments wouldn't be as effective without this song. So for that, it deserves to be ranked this high on the list. If I had to rank these songs based on their live performances at the Oscars, which will hopefully never happen, then this would easily take the #1 spot. I'll never forget watching this modern masterpiece for the first time. When I tell you my jaw was on the floor when I first saw this sequence, I mean it. It was an epic moment in a film with too many epic moments to count. Whenever people ask me why I preferred last year's Oscars over this year's, I will always point to this song. And Everything Everywhere All at Once, but that's a story for another day. Ah yes, the infamous year when there were only 2 nominees. But you know what? If that means an easy win for one of the greatest songs ever written for a film, then I'll take it. You all know this song, you all love this song, you know why it's so good, it's Man or Muppet. Say what you will, but this deserves to be in the top 5. La La Land might be a better movie than it is a musical, but all of its songs are incredible, and this was the perfect one to win. Every time I hear those opening notes, I'm instantly reminded of why I love not only this movie, but cinema itself. Every time I watch this movie and get to hear this song, Whether it be the scene it's from, or the iconic cover that plays during the credits, it never fails to give me chills, leave me in tears, or both. An absolutely uplifting song from a movie that I'm so glad is being recognized for the masterpiece that it is. The first animated Best Picture nominee, which is well deserved considering it's easily the greatest movie Disney will ever make. This is one of those rare musicals, or even movies, where it's impossible for me to pick a favorite song, but it's easy for me to pick a favorite scene. And this is it, Chief. I really don't know what else to say that hasn't already been said. It's just a perfect sequence and a perfect song from beginning to end. But still not as perfect as... I adore literally everything about this song. When I was putting this list together, I already knew from the start what would take the #1 spot. It's the best romantic duet ever written for a musical. It's the best song from any Disney movie. Yeah, I said it. It has an absolutely gorgeous and iconic sequence that Disney will sadly never make again. Instead of a basic, standard, formulaic love song where Aladdin tries his hardest to get Jasmine to fall for him and take off her clothes, he gives her the adventure she's always craved. The unbelievable sights and indescribable feelings. This allows the two of them to naturally connect throughout the song until they finally come together by the end. I could go on, but instead of paraphrasing the words of a more professional media critic, I'll just end it here by saying that this was one of the smartest, most deserved, and rare, perfect wins in the entire history of the Academy Awards. A Whole New World is easily my favorite Disney song of all time, and my pick for the best Oscar winner for Best Original Song. Well, that was fun. Alright, I'm done. I need to take a break from music. Oh my god.